Finally.
Great. Thanks for taking the question. Maybe just following up on the active trader commentary there. Just hoping you could elaborate a little bit on what sort of uptake you're seeing with Legend, how that's contributing on 24/5. I guess how much of your volume are you seeing in the overnight session, and then on prediction markets, if maybe you could just elaborate on the success there and what sort of mix you're seeing between sports and other types of contracts.
Maybe I'll start on prediction markets and then you can chat about Legend. So prediction markets is cumulative now at about 2 billion contracts. We were nearly 1 billion in the quarter. In terms of the mix, since we launched, customers have engaged in over 100 million economic contracts. So really nice. A large percentage of the transactions in prediction markets are with sports, and we love to see our customers engage in that way as well. I think, over time, what you're going to see is we'll continue to, add selection across, all elements of, culture, whether it's things that would be on the front page to the business section to the sports page. And I think we can tell by the engagement by customers that it's a product that is resonating.
All right, folks, welcome to the Blacksmith podcast, and we are going to finish this Robinhood call. We've got about 10 minutes left of this call, and these guys are phenomenal. Again, on the left, you have Vladimir Tenev, the co-founder and CEO of Robinhood, and on the right, you have Jason Warnick, the CFO, the money man, the chief financial officer. And the question they just took from JP Morgan Chase, what Jason just answered about was the prediction markets, and he's talking about 2 billion. They're doing quite well. They let you bet on world events. One such thing was the election. I think that was the first one that they actually hosted in November. And then I know in March Madness, the Sweet 16 tournament in basketball and the NCAA, they let you bet on that too. And I say bet, it's the closest thing they have to gambling. You are actually betting on who's going to win. So Robinhood, once and for all, I'm going to say it again, they are becoming a one-stop shop. They are becoming an institution where you can invest money, where you can build or transfer your IRA, your retirement funds, where you can have I forget what it's called. It has a name. Well, you can make a fund for your kids. They're going to go into banking. They're going to have saving CDs. They're going to offer mortgages, car loans. They let you gamble essentially in prediction markets. You name it, they're doing it. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and I would tell you, a good chunk of it is sports, but we've also been focused on that because that's an area where not a lot of our competitors are present. So we see that as a big opportunity, and we.
All right, it absolutely is. I love what he said right here. Sorry to cut him off. The next thing he said was "and," right? Excuse me. I'm not AI. Basically, he's trying to show you that they have the castle with the moat around it, with the waters, with the alligators in it, and the drawbridge is up. He's saying we're separated and we're totally defended against our opponents. They can't touch this. No.
Been investing, but we've also been building the capability to list lots of different types of contracts, and we anticipate broadening the suite to multiple categories. On Robinhood Legend, volumes continue to grow nicely overnight as well. We don't have specific numbers to share there, but everything's looking very positive, and we like what we're seeing.
And it's great. We keep getting feedback from customers. The team's hard at work, and they're literally rolling out improvements week over week. So a lot of momentum there and improving the product experience.
All right. Since this is our last, we've now gotten through the audio queue, and since we are here in person, I think we have time for a couple more in-person questions. If anybody has any other questions.
Oh, what an opportunity! Oh, that's crazy.
You started us off.
So maybe going back to the pricing discussion, you guys have done a really nice job of demonstrating the value prop. You've been able to increase price or take rate on crypto without seeing any meaningful impact in terms of market share. In fact, it's been reflecting steady market share gains.
Yeah.
We know that some of your larger competitors are going to be entering the crypto trading space, maybe not necessarily with as broad or robust of an offering. But I wanted to get your perspective on how to what extent you can protect that pricing advantage as the Schwabs and Morgan Stanley with E-Trade, via E-Trade, actually look to enter this space as well.
All right, two things about this. The announcer did say, hey, you started us off before. Interesting. And I don't know why he felt the need to point that out, but I'll tell you why I think it's relevant. There are other people in that crowd, right? When people are speaking there, you can see other people in that crowd. No one has a question. They're in front of multi-billion-dollar net worth individuals, at least Vlad on the left. I can guarantee you that Jason is far behind, but he's far ahead of us in being a multimillionaire, right? These guys are running a phenomenal frontline company that also uses tech. Nobody else has a question. No one came prepared with a question. That's one. Two, he asked a great question again. I think his first one was pretty good. I can't remember which one it was, but he he asked a good question in that he wants to know what the side of the moat is around the castle when it comes to crypto. Because Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, all these Ameritrades and all this kind of other trades and stuff, they're going to get into the crypto space. Why? Because the days of telling people that crypto is not valuable to invest in when Bitcoin has been the all-time leading returning asset, period, is just nuts. It's nuts. It's not going to work anymore. So the big firms who are like, no, crypto's not the way to go, keep investing in this stuff, it's not going to work anymore, especially because Robinhood came and spearheaded a lot of stuff and started becoming a one-stop shop. You're not going to pull the wool over people's eyes anymore. So he wants to know if we can keep ahead of the other competitors.
Maybe I'll try the crypto pricing this time. So a couple of things. One is you mentioned the market share gains in crypto. I think that maybe one thing that hasn't really been talked about very much is the rollout of smart exchange routing and what that does with tiered pricing for high volume traders. I mean, frankly, before we rolled that out, if you were a high volume trader trading, tens of millions of dollars in notional a month, our offering wasn't very competitive for you because you were getting great advanced pricing elsewhere. And so our offering was too expensive for these customers. And I think we've done a good job in addressing that. Of course, smart exchange routing continues to be adopted, but we think that now we have a competitive offering for customers trading higher volume. And as you see more and more Bitstamp integration, as we continue to bring that onto the fold, the experience for a crypto high volume trader will become even better on Robinhood. So, a lot of these gains that you've seen are without us actually fully serving the active traders on the crypto side.
So basically, what he's saying is, you ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. He's basically saying, with the onboarding of Bitstamp, well, the acquisition of Bitstamp, it's not even fully up and running yet. So that team hasn't really fully integrated with Robinhood. So you haven't seen anything yet. And look at everything we've done so far.
In terms of, so I think we feel good, and I think the numbers will speak for themselves there. In terms of large, I think you're referring to incumbent brokerage competitors getting into crypto. I mean, I don't know. We've been hearing that question for quarters, and they still haven't gotten into crypto. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I tend to not.
Hey, pop your collar, Vlad. We just here talking. They ain't doing nothing. We're with the action over here. Robinhood.
not really worry about competitors unless they have a product in market that's actually beating us. And I just think we're going to continue to move ahead. We've added staking now. We're sort of like continuing to add assets and different blockchains across the board. I know we added some new ones last week.
That's right.
And I think the velocity of the crypto team's been really, really good. So again, tend
Not
not to worry about
Tell 'em.
competitors until they actually have products in market that are beating our products.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying, he doesn't care who you are. You're not a competitor for them. The business model that they have set up, folks, and this is why you should be excited about a company like this. He's not just talking stuff. There isn't anybody who is doing what they're doing, exactly how they're doing, or remotely even close of how they're doing it. So he's not worried, because they're going to continue to innovate. Now, if this was a company that wasn't innovating fast enough, or they didn't have any plans for the next quarter, he would have a worried look on his face. Do you see that cheeky smile right there? That's a guy that's sleeping great at night.
And I think the point that Vlad is making, that I'd reiterate, is that in crypto, pace of innovation is a competitive advantage. And I see Johan here. He and his team, I would bet on they're moving at an incredible pace, as we demonstrated at the To Catch a Token event.
All right, we got
There you have
one
it.
last question.
There you
Kevin
have it.
Ryan from Citizens.
Thanks for letting me wrap it up here. So, Jason, a lot of credit for the expense management here, because 56% adjusted EBITDA margins in the quarter is pretty amazing given the level of growth you guys are putting up. So I know you've committed to this kind of theme of driving, and revenues can bounce around, but this theme of driving kind of faster top line growth than expense growth. But as we start to kind of look ahead, and maybe not to get too far ahead of ourselves for 2026, but just talk about the relationship and the commitment to continuing to drive kind of top line faster than expenses, especially with all the initiatives you guys have underway. And I'm sure there's no lack of areas to spend money on. So just the relationship, and maybe also areas where you're finding to save some money to then reinvest back into growth. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll just kind of tell you how we think
Of course,
about
the
it
money
generally. We have a large business, and large businesses present opportunities to be more efficient, more productive. And so when we think about deploying capital for organic growth, what we do is we look at our existing businesses and ask them to improve process and use technology so that their cost growth stays in the low single digits. And in some cases, our GMs would assert that we've asked them to actually decrease costs. And there's a lot of opportunity. I'm sure talk a lot about AI and just process improvement more generally. And we've done a really nice job of being able to grow those existing businesses, but do it in a way that's costs are growing at a very slow percentage. And so that's a big part of our business that's growing at a really small percentage. And what that does is it frees up the incremental dollars to put in areas that drive growth, whether that's new business initiatives or it's things like marketing. And we love marketing, and we're constantly debating about putting more marketing dollars to work because the ROIs are so good and the payback is so short. So what I tell you is, even though we're delivering such incredible leverage on the business, the debates inside the company aren't, come on, Jason, like loosen up on the purse strings. It's really been focused on finding ways to be more efficient, and it frees up a lot of capital and a lot of costs that we can then deploy into other areas. And that's not to say that we don't have these debates and periodically add 5 headcount here or 2 headcount there. But it isn't a situation where we're choking the business. And I think you can see that with the growth that we're able to deliver. So I'm not always the most popular person in the room, and Shiv, who's here with me, is probably even more so because I make him say no more than I do. But
incredibly unpopular.
Incredibly. But I'll tell you, we have a DNA at the company, and it's in our culture to be lean and disciplined, and I think it's really showing up in our results.
I would also just add that two of the areas that have just been critical to our business, sustaining the rate of innovation and kind of customer adoption of our products, have been engineering and customer service. And both of those areas are probably like very, very, I mean, we've invested early and aggressively in using AI for both of those, and it's having tremendous results. I mean, I would venture to say we're world class across both of those, and of course, other areas as well, and we're looking at everything, but those are the two that like really move the needle for our business. I think that's why we've been able to demonstrate. I mean, that's a big part of why we've been able to demonstrate this growth while keeping, OpEx relatively flat, up a little bit.
All right, that concludes the Q&A of our call. Vlad, any closing remarks?
Look, before he does that, he said, Jason, money man, he said ROI is with marketing. That means it's working. Return on investment is high. And then Vlad talked about engineering and customer service really moving the needle for the company. Customer service is big in any company. You heard it here first from him, not even me, him, right? And engineering, he is an engineer. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for listening, and to not just our retail shareholders, but institutional analysts, the finance content creators in this room, for the engagement. Really hope this was informative, but also fun. And yeah, maybe we'll do it again. Thank you again.
Of course we will.
Watch out for Hood Summit in Las Vegas in the next few weeks.
Amen.
So we're not slowing down. The innovation will continue.
Tell them.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks, look, that is what running a great company looks like. You're not in business if you're not doing it like these two guys right here. Listen, this is the MVP of my stock portfolio, Robinhood Markets. If you like this video, if you like this series, let me know what you think in the comments. That's going to do it for the Robinhood Q2 2025 call. Folks, have a great night and continue watching. We just hit 300 subscribers, so thank you for watching. Thank you for making the Blacksmith podcast a part of your life. And please share it out with other people. If it's done you a service, share it out with other people so they can also get something from it. All right, guys. See you in the next one.